Hey, how's it going? My name is Jackson with First Class Business, and I'm excited to talk to you about landing page science. And yes, I could have called this like landing page power or something, but the reality is landing pages are more science and stress than anything else. And I need to crush some of the preconceived notions that you have because you're not a marketer, plain and simple. You wouldn't be working with us if you were. And marketers love to blog, and bloggers and journalists on Forbes love to pretend they know everything about marketing, and people love to polarize subjects. And at the end of the day, there are so many misconceptions about what a landing page is, what a landing page does, how they work for your business, how they can't work, don't work, modeling, what to model, how to do it, where to go, what to look at. It's kind of overwhelming, and we need to get back to the basics. We need to really keep it simple. But I'm going to walk you through a number of landing pages right now to show you around what's out there and what's working and why we build the way that we do. At the end of the day, I kind of need you to let go. I kind of need, unless you have a landing page that is proven to work right now as part of your launch, and it's like, man, this landing page has been working and here's why, and you know it, and we dissect it and find that that's fully the case, we need to make sure to protect you from things that you know a little bit too much about, just enough to be dangerous. There's plenty of areas in my business that I need protected in that regard too. Landing pages is also one of those. I have to let go of my own preconceived notions and my own judgments because you can really hurt yourself fast by not setting up well. So let's look at some of the best landing pages out there and start with entities that matter, not just coaches, but companies that have public track records you can follow. Netflix is a great example. Look at how incredibly simple their landing page is. And the only thing that I would recommend from a conversion rate standpoint, if they weren't as brand heavy as they were, is moving this call to auction, this call to action, this opt-in off and down the page so that people consume more of the content before they immediately start putting their email in. Now, I know that sounds counterintuitive, but Unbounce has done a lot of research on it, and typically your call to action serve you better when people, and your adoption of the product serves you better when people really dive in and read the full story. So if they don't have any incentive to scroll and look at what they might get, and they dive straight into this to the next page, they may not actually convert as highly as if this were buried down the page. But again, who can argue with the power that Netflix as a brand has? I wouldn't. So I would have to look at the data. Then they have their frequently asked questions. These are golden. It is so important to make sure that you get any buyer's remorse and buyer's questions addressed on the front end if you know how to answer it well enough in a digital format that allows people to proceed. If you sell something like dental implants or you're selling high ticket coaching, it's really important to reserve some of these for the call so that people have a reason to engage with you because they're probably going to want to talk to you before making a heavy investment. Now, what business better to showcase as far as landing page than the leader of all businesses out there? You can go to Amazon, look at theirs too. You can go to Apple and look at theirs as well. Let's not get an argument over something stupid. But their AdWords program, the AdWords program at Google, this is a phenomenal landing page. Now, what's cool is it used to be a landing page that didn't have a scroll functionality. It just had, and I say that for years, it was just, here, reach new customers online with Google Ads and start now. They're very good at their customer-centric copy. And then, and in fact, I like the old landing page a little bit better. It taught that principle better. And they showcase the power of the solution, and then they have information to help you learn more about why you might want to consider advertising on Google Ads. And they've got an awesome, we'll give you $500 in free credit when you spend $500. Not a bad offer to get you to start. And it's very clear that they want you to either sign in or start now. It's very hard to miss the call to action. All right, let's move on from these. So I'm going to close these as we go. Ask Method. Ryan Levesque is one of the best consultants out there, and his company, the Ask Method, does a very great job of having a simple landing page. One of the things I love about starting simple with landing pages, by the way, he also owns Bucket.io, which is kind of the same exact thing, but it is its own separate entity. And this landing page, look at this. Whoa, he's got all sorts of stuff on here. The risk you run when it's your first landing page, and look at that, frequently asked questions, go figure, you want to have them. The risk you run, though, with creating too much content is the same risk you run as a rookie salesperson delivering too much content out of their mouth. You risk verbally vomiting on people. You risk giving people a headache and confusing them. If you haven't tested every aspect of the copy that you have on that page, how in the world are you going to know what led to a conversion and what led to somebody screaming and running away? It's very hard to tell. The more content that you have, the more likely people are going to get overwhelmed and move on from you. So they do a good job of focusing on, here's the value, here's the proof, start your quiz, try it out, see how this quiz funnel works, see where we're featured and talked about, and look at this. We are an Inc. 5000 company, not 1 year, not 2 years, not 3 years, not just 4 years, but now 2 companies across 4 years as an Inc. 5000. That's some dominance right there. And then this is not a landing page. So they do have landing pages, but I love that their homepage ultimately represents a great landing page, and most of their pages do a good job of having the same type of feel behind them. The Genius Network is worth looking at. Joe Polish, this guy is amazing, and it costs a lot of money to be a part of the Genius Network. So he's doing a lot of things right. I like that at the bottom of his landing page, or at the bottom of his homepage again, he's got an opt-in for his book. So there's a lot of different elements going on here. It's more busy work because it's not just the landing page. You would have to look up and find the landing page itself. But there's different things people are trying to get their brands out there. And he's got a lot of elements on here that are very similar to the others, like where he's been featured and some testimonials baked into this. There are certain principles that matter. We're looking at the principles, the process that he puts people through. Most of these entities are going to showcase their process as well to get people comfortable. Podcasts, whether it's your own podcast or places that you've been featured, you can do this a number of different ways. Again, this application for membership is the main element, the main next step that they want you to take. But if you're too scared to do that, then they've got the ability to, hey, check out Joe's book. He's going to give it to you for free. Pretty cool. And then if you go to the application, once again, this is in essence a landing page. In this case, because he doesn't give too much more information other than the form, they're banking on the branding of the Genius Network itself to carry you forward, and the experience and clarity that comes from just filling out the form to check out what is the next step out of these 4 steps. I know exactly how much I'm going to be dragged through before I sign up. Now let's go look at Sam Ovens. This is my favorite landing page of all because it looks so much like the most common landing page out there, Google. All right, I don't think it lets me show Google on these screen recordings, but Sam did a step back from what he used to have and launched this, realizing that, maybe he was coming across as a bit too intimidating as a brand. And I see that happen a lot of time with coaches, where you get fancy branding and fancy logos and fancy you and fancy suits in front of fancy cars. And next thing you know, people can't relate to you. So let's look at what Sam did before he pulled his brand all back. Look at this. Here he is, leader of the marketing bro revolution that most of us are not super big fans of. I remember there was at one point he had his website where he was standing in one of these skyscrapers looking out of the window. And I think that had a negative effect on his brand. I'm not saying that he didn't win and find ways to be successful, but I think he was very smart in recognizing that if that's how he portrays himself, if he portrays himself as an unreachable, out of touch entity, then he's not going to attract nearly as many people who are at the starting stage, which is the stage he loves to cater to, than if he shows that, hey, look, my brand can succeed without having all the fancy bells and whistles, so can yours. Going to consulting.com, his website, you see it follows that same trend. The nice thing is, it's way more cost effective to maintain a website like this. So as we may have just blown your mind in terms of like landing pages and the depths of them, I want to blow it one final time. When I launched JCal Digital, I had to launch my agency a few months ahead of schedule. This is my other agency, by the way, that I launched before First Class Business. And there's some neat stuff on here. This is where the First Class Business branding was incepted. It just took me about 8 years to turn the tides and reset the brand. But I'm getting off track. When I launched JCal Digital, I did not even have a website. I was terrified. I got my image on here. I got this little like call to action thing. It said something different though. I built everything pretty much that you see with the exception of all this branding, all this cool branding stuff or funky branding stuff, however you feel about my logo. I know a lot of people hate it. I love it. But it was just a very generic page, very similar to what Sam has. And I ended up getting my first 4 to 5 clients moved forward, bought and paid proposals, everything done for website generation, website development, website design projects, and my site wasn't even done. How undone was it? Well, I would joke with those clients. As soon as they were onboarded and paid, I would always call and ask them like, hey, what did you think of my site? Granted, I had shown them a portfolio of other sites that I had worked with and brands that I had worked with on marketing, from Video Power to Laserway, etc. But they said, oh yeah, it was great. It was great. I said, do me a favor, go to my website and scroll down. And I always had toyed with them a little bit. It was kind of a little bit of a flirt, right? I wanted them to see, and they would scroll down and they wouldn't see this information, business growth strategies, operations. They saw header 1, header 2, header 3, and then everything else was lorem ipsum. There was literally nothing else on my site. If you went to all my other pages, with the exception of Contact Us, every page said coming soon. And again, it blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even have my website finished. And here I had 4 to 5 clients that all came to me for website development and website design. They didn't find me through Google. I was a networking boss. I knew how to talk to people. I knew how to help people move forward. But my point is, your landing page is not going to move the needle for you by itself. It is an asset that helps you look great. It is an asset that we will turn into an asset that helps move the needle forward for you. But in this coaching realm, especially in the high ticket space, these entities, these people, these organizations that are considering hiring you, they're going to want to meet with you. The landing page is simply a mechanism to help inspire them to say, you know what, this brand looks pretty legit. I like the message. I like what they're writing about. Let's go ahead and check it out. Nope, I don't want the newsletter. YouTube. It's going to take me to his YouTube and he's going to impress us there. But ultimately, we just want to get them enough information to where they're considering why they may want to work with us. And here we go. That's just like this. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be fancy. It has to guide people to a next step action. It has to get people in the mood to say, when I take that next step, I feel ready to have a deeper level conversation. If you can incorporate the frequently asked questions into this as well, which is, again, all part of the plan and strategy of building up. That's why we call it landing page plus, plus, plus. There's going to be renditions of this, and we're going to constantly want to A/B test those to see what's driving the most conversions and help you win. I probably made this video a little bit too long. Thanks for bearing with me on the science and the nerd stuff behind it, but I want you to be able to kind of let go of those landing page concepts that you have in your head. Trust the process of building it out the right way, and then learn to trust the data. There's some emotion behind it, of course. There's definitely some art involved, especially in terms of the messaging. But when it comes to the landing page itself, no, you don't. You're not going to win by copying some random person's page, or because somebody on stage said, this is the landing page that will change everything for you. That doesn't exist. That's not how it works. They're betting on a bunch of people coming into their program, fizzling out, not bothering with chargebacks, and they're hoping that a few of those individuals, the minority of them, get lucky enough and are loud enough with those testimonials and those videos to be able to sustain what they're putting out there. Don't fall for that bullcrap. This is about building the right way. So we're going to take you through that. Thanks for taking the time to understand the myths and fallacies that exist out there with the landing pages. We're going to focus on the science and help you build the best landing page possible for where you're at, where your brand is at. And we'll be meeting with you further to make sure that you're ready to go and ready to win. Bye-bye.